Welcome back after a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm sorry that I haven't been uploading anything recently. I won't go into too much detail, but just um, I've wanted to say a lot about some of the shows that recently aired and like also old shows and everything, but stuff has been a little bit hectic for me in recent times due to there's a lot of personal things going on right now, and I don't want to waste your time with that. You don't care about that. You all read the video title, so yeah. I'm only here to talk about six series that I think are probably the best that the last season had to offer. Some of them are still going, some are over already. But yeah, these are the six series that were the best that the last season had to offer, but that you probably have not seen yet. So yeah. Um let's just jump right into it. First up is Lost Song. This is one of the best fantasy series in recent memory for me. I'm looking at the Mal page while I'm talking, by the way, so that I can give you some stats. It currently stands at a score of 6.91, and it has 6,941 people listed it on their page. So you can see that this series didn't really have a lot of followers, which is understandable because it is a Netflix series, so it didn't come out internationally yet. It's only watchable in Japan or like through piracy. But I am able to watch Netflix in Japan, so I was able to watch it weekly. And let me tell you, this is the best series in that genre I've seen in a long time. It's a fantasy about a girl that has magical powers when she sings. There are multiple songs in the world, and if she sings them, then she can, for example, heal other people or like call a tornado or something like that, depending on which songs she sings. And she goes on in order to perform in the greatest orchestra of the kingdom that she lives in. So yeah, that's the basic premise. Of course, there are many twists and turns in it, but like I said, what I really enjoyed about the series was just that it was a straight on fantasy, like high fantasy. No like stuck in another world, no video game bullshit, just straight up high fantasy. Granted, no other races or something. That would have been a little bit more interesting even, but at least it's not another isekai show or trapped in a video game show. It's just fantasy, and it does it wonderfully. The music is gorgeous. It's fantastic. It looks fantastic. I can't really say anything else about this show. The characters also are great. The story is emotional. It's fun. It's energetic. It's sad. It's all the things you want it to be. It's just 12 episodes, so it's a relatively short ride, but it's a ride you won't forget. I haven't forgotten about it yet. It's a fantastic series, and you're really missing out on this. It's it's a shame that it's a Netflix series. I really hope that once it comes out internationally, people will watch it and realize how great this series is. I can only hope that that will happen, but somehow I have a bad feeling, so that's why I'm talking about it here in the hope that maybe someone will check this out and like recommend it to their friends, and that maybe we can get the ball rolling somehow in that way. But yeah, Lost Song, great series. For me, it's a 9 out of 10, and if you know my rating system, then that's the highest I give shows that don't like have a personal connection but are like great in every sense of the word. It's a fantastic series. Just didn't like it didn't shatter my heart or like rock me to the core, but everything else it did. It's fantastic. I'm repeating myself, so I'm moving on. This one is still with 25,000 people on Mal having it listed, which isn't a lot. Is still the most recognized one because I'm not the first one to talk about it. Many people have already talked about it and how great it is. It's Hisone to Masotan, which is at the time of this recording has already concluded. It's 12 episode run, and what can I say? It was a fantastic series. I told everyone that this will be a fantastic series the moment I saw it in the listing, because I was like, this is an original series by Bones. I knew that it was gonna be amazing. Why is no one talking about it? I mean, people are talking about it, and I know why it isn't like more watched. Again, Netflix, but still, this series, I will try to keep it brief with this one because, like I said, many people already talked about it. It's about these military cadets that are piloting dragons by being eaten by them, and then they can pilot them from within their throats or within their stomach. I don't really know. So yeah, if that's something that is not for you, I can see how it would turn you off, but I personally think it's not the main focus of the story. Think of it just as a mech series, basically. But even then, the mechs aren't the focus. It's the characters and their relationships, and it's just fun. The characters are lovable, and the art style, especially, I think, really complements the story and the characters really well. So, animation. It's Bones. It's about as gorgeous as you expect. So Hisone to Masotan, definitely recommended. Also an 8, maybe even a 9. I'm not so sure yet, but it will definitely not be forgotten so fast. Yeah, definitely one of the highlights of last season, and it's sad to have finished it and having to move on from it, because it was a great ride. Yeah. Okay, next up is Layton Mystery Tanteisha, which is the anime adaptation of the Lady Layton, or no, what was it called? Layton's Mystery Journey game for iOS, Android, and I think 3DS. Yeah, I think those are the 3 platforms the game was released on, and the game, I have played the game on the 3DS. It's not good. The problem I had with the game was because I've been a huge Professor Layton fan since the first game came out back in, I think it was 2007. Oh god, more than 10 years ago already. I'm getting old. So I've been a huge fan of the series back since the first installment, and the Professor has never really let me down, even at his lowest points, which in my opinion was the 6th game. He was still the Professor, and the mystery was still grand, and it had a scale to it, and his daughter, which is the protagonist of the new game and also the anime, her new game, no. Her game was such a downgrade from the grand adventures of the Professor, but I won't go into the game right now. Oh wait, no, I will go into. This is supposed to be a little bit more in depth, so yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this. If it doesn't interest you, there are timestamps in the description, so you can skip ahead. But I'm gonna go into this a little bit. So the problem with the game of Lady Layton, or Layton's Mystery Journey, are multiple ones. First off, the main problem, in my opinion, is at the beginning of the game there is a dog, and he comes to Catriel, which is the name of Layton's daughter, and he talks, and he asks her to find out who he is and why he can talk, because he doesn't know. And I think that's interesting. That mystery is on par with the mysteries of Professor Layton. Just something that is not normal, and you try to find out what it is, and it gets bigger and bigger, and in the end you find out. I was like, okay, this is a solid start, and nothing happens. they just ignore him. Well, not ignore him, he just becomes like a mascot character, like a comic relief. And that's not what you're supposed to do with the biggest mystery in your game. They do the same thing with Professor Layton himself. Like, he's missing. Like, Catriel is searching for her father, for like Professor Layton, and we never find out anything in the game. It's just like, yes, maybe in the sequel, no one knows. So yeah, that's the main problem with the game, just like setting up these mysteries and then like never getting to them. And the second problem with the game is that the mysteries themselves, like, because she isn't an archaeologist like her father, she's a detective, yet I just went with the detective route. And so she solves like these like mysteries, but it's like within her neighborhood, like in London. She never like goes outside the country or anything. Like, the farthest she goes is maybe to another town, like near the area. So yeah, she's very local, and the mysteries she solves are like, they reflect that, in that they are really nothing really interesting. For example, there's a case where a scene from a movie gets stolen. Yeah, isn't that's what you think about when you think Professor Layton, right? A movie gets stolen. Not even a movie, just a scene of a movie gets stolen. Riveting. So yeah, and most of the cases in the game are really, really simple, and you can solve them in like pretty fast once you like put all the pieces together. But they still take like 1.5 hours, and you still have to solve the puzzles along the way, because it's still a Layton game, and you need the puzzles to progress, so you can't just skip them. And so in the end, each case like clocks in at 1.5 to 2 hours, and there are like 12 cases. So it's way too long for cases that you have solved like maybe half an hour after you started. So yeah, the game is a failure in my opinion on pretty much every level. I won't even talk about the like voice acting. In my opinion, like, you can dump that away, which is sad, because in my opinion, Professor Layton had pretty good dubbing in his earlier games, so it was a shock to see that no one sounded right in this one. I had to change the language of my DS, like, because to make it bearable, because you couldn't just change the language in game. But yeah, now I was able to finish it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. Now, the series fixes all of them. I've been meaning to talk about this one way earlier, but now that I've delayed this like video for so long, it's actually become like better, because I can talk about this series with everything that we know so far, and it, like I said, it solves everything. First off, the dog isn't like brought up as a big mystery, he's just there from the beginning, which is a bit better. He hasn't been addressed yet in the series, but at least it's not like made like the focus in the beginning. So that's good. Same with Professor Layton. He isn't made the focus, but they still address him, and they have already had an episode entirely focused on him and what happened to him. So it is my belief that this series will pick up where the game like failed, and that this series will deliver the answers of what happened to Professor Layton, where he is, what is the deal with the talking dog, and they already showed like an adult Luke. For those of you who know the games, you should know what that means. So yeah, they are actually like showing things that weren't in the game. They're like not letting it like wait for a sequel. They are showing you what is happening now. So I think that's really great. And the second thing that they fix is the mysteries, because each episode in this series, of course, is 20 minutes, and that means that the mysteries are also 20 minutes. And they, for the most part, have not adapted the mysteries of the game. They have adapted some, but most of them are original, and that works to their advantage, because they can make these mysteries fit perfectly to the length of an episode, and it never gets old, because you only have 10 minutes of them trying to figure out the mystery, and that's all the time you need. And the other 10 minutes are like them explaining it to you, yeah, like what the solution is. But then you can confirm like 10 minutes and it's over, right? So it never gets old, and I really, really like that. Yeah, so Layton's Mystery Detective Agency, I really like. It's a shame no one's watching it. 8,000 people, a little bit more than 8,000 people have listed it on Mel. It's sitting at a score of 7.05, which is alright for that number of members, but yeah, it deserves a lot more. My main idea why this series isn't more popular is probably because it's tagged as kids, which I think is stupid, because this series, I don't know if dark is the right word, but yeah, it gets pretty dark. So I don't really know if kids should be watching this. Like, yeah, it has like it has elements aimed at children, but I think it's, or at least I don't think that it should be exclusive for kids, because I'm almost 20 and I really enjoy this series. So yeah, it's not aimed specifically at kids. You can enjoy this as a teenager slash adult. So yeah, I think I was long enough on this one. Layton's Mystery Detective Agency, huge recommendation, especially if you've played the Layton games and were as disappointed as I was with the Catriel game. This series fixes everything. And even if you have no idea what Professor Layton is about, this series still holds up on its own. Like I said, most of the cases are anime original. So yeah, just go at it. It's a great series. Next up, the series with probably the least amount of recognition, Wakaokami wa Shougakusei, which translates to the inn master, or like the master of the inn is a great schooler. Yeah, I know Japanese. Bow down to me. This series has only 2,739 people listed on Mel as of this recording, which is a shame. Which is a goddamn shame, because it's a manga or novel, I think novel adaptation by Madhouse. Yes. And what can I say? It's great. It's only 10 minutes per episode, but it's fantastic. It has like this, it's not like a spectacular series like on like, oh, so many things happen in it, but no, it's just about like this girl, this like grade schooler who like tries to help out at the like inn where her where she's living. Like, she doesn't want to like just live there without like giving anything back, so she just starts working there, and she has like this friendly rivalry with like the more luxurious inn a few streets away, with like where her classmate also works, and she also befriends like all of these ghosts that live in the inn, which are like people that can't like go away from there, but like they've lived there early, years before. They've lived there, but they died, and they still like remained there, and she can see them but no one else. And yeah, it's just what I really feel from this series is just like passion and like charm and like charisma. I don't know how to pronounce it. Charisma. Sorry. Like, you know, when you watch a series where like which doesn't really have anything like going on, like sort of Yashike, but not like really. There's still things happening, but it's like nothing like world changing. For example, like what would I know, like Dragon Ball Z or something like that. It's not on that level, but just like nothing really is happening. It's just like slice of life. Why did I forget that term? Like just slice of life where not much is happening. For example, like Flying Witch or a Manchu, but it's like you feel like the passion of like the people working on the show, and just like the competence. That's probably the word I was looking for. This show is simply competent. It knows what it is, and it uses all of its assets to like show you that this is what it is and that it is a great. So yeah, definitely a 9 for me. It's still going. We've had 12 episodes so far. It's still going, so I'm really happy that it's still going. It's even getting a movie like sometime this year, I think. There's a movie coming out. If I can somehow get my hands on it, I'll definitely check that one out, because this series with the budget of a movie, that's just everything I could have hoped for. So, yeah. High recommendation for Wakaokami wa Shougakusei. Yeah, this one definitely definitely deserves more love than it has received so far. Yeah. Alright, next up. This one might ring a bell. It is the second season / spin-off of To Be Hero, the one Chinese anime that actually managed to not suck. To Be Heroine. It is a good show, definitely. Out of all of these I've talked so far, probably my least favorite, but that isn't saying much because the series is still amazing. You'll be hard pressed to find something more imaginative than this right now, and more like crazy with like its visuals and like what it's trying to do, because this series, at least the Japanese version, isn't entirely Japanese. Because what this series is about a girl who like suddenly stumbles into a parallel world and like can summon warriors by taking off her clothes, and then her clothes transform into these like warriors that can fight for her. So for example, think Pokemon, but you can wear them as clothes, for example. And she's like accompanied by like a talking baby that only wears underwear. And yeah, and they're trying to find out what like happened and how they can save this parallel world. And it keeps the amazing animation from the first season, like of To Be Hero. But like it definitely goes in another direction. It's way darker, even concerning how To Be Hero ended. This series is way darker than that. You don't have to have seen To Be Hero and to watch To Be Heroine, but I personally would say, since To Be Hero is as good as it is, watch it anyways and then go to this one. But you don't have to. You can just check out either one and just see what you think. The thing that makes this series special, though, is that the Japanese version still keeps the Chinese dub, but only during the portions where the people are in the real world. So once they go to like the parallel world, they all speak Japanese, which is an interesting choice, and I'm not sure if I really like it, but I don't know, it's just so interesting and so unique that you kind of have to admire it just based on that. It is so different and so unique. Like I said, the animation is still great, the characters are interesting. I personally don't think it's as good as the first season, mainly because the story, I mean, not to say that it's bad, but the first one just like had a lot more weight to it, because I think the first like series was way more relatable than this one, because yeah, this one definitely is a lot more over the top, but still a lot darker. And not that the things that they are like, not that this story couldn't happen, but you can see the story in the original series happen way more easily than this one. Like, there are a lot of like coincidences in this one, and a lot of like also scientific stuff that needs to have happened for this story to make any sense. And yeah, you have to buy into To Be Heroine to like fully enjoy it. I can, and a lot of people can as well. 11,000 to be exact. That has how many members have listed it on Mal. Like I said, really not a lot. So yeah, I definitely think that the series deserves more recognition. But yeah, out of the ones I am talking about right now, this is the lowest. But out of everything that is coming out last season, it's still like the 6th best thing. So yeah. Alright, and the last one that you have not seen but definitely should see is Uchuu Senkan Tiramisu, or Space Battleship Tiramisu. This series is basically, if you like take a standard like space opera with like two opposing forces with like mechs and everything, and you have your like stoic protagonist that doesn't like that doesn't socialize with his other crews and just like goes to his cockpit to brood, and like you take that and then just inject it with a little bit of daily life hijinks. For example, what if you wanna eat a little snack before takeoff, but then your food flies around the ship because there's no gravity? Stuff like that. You see, or there's like a scratch on your mech that really makes it look bad, or maybe your mechanic has written your name on your helmet so that you don't lose it anymore. Stuff like that. Just put in the human factor, like everything that makes humans just a little bit quirky, and everything that makes like daily life a little bit more fun. All of that is in this series, and it's great. It's only 7 minutes per episode, so it's a pretty short watch. I still think it's worth it. So worth it. Yeah, the characters are really fun. The scenarios are hilarious, but it still has like this serious story. It's just like it puts it in like daily scenarios. Just like everyday people in like these scenarios, and like like everyday flaws and the flaws of humans. Those are just way more prevalent in this series. I don't know if you know this. It's, for example, like the difference between Frankenstein and young Frankenstein. It's a lot like that. Like the human flaws have a much bigger role in it. Yeah. So this series definitely was a lot of fun. I gave it 8 out of 10. I can recommend it wholeheartedly. It's a great watch if you're like looking for basically a slice of life that like also looks at the comedic side of life while not being a full comedy. It's a weird mix of genres, actually. Like, let me check. Yeah, it has like 6 genres on Mel, and all of them fit. It's a comedy, seinen, slice of life, space, sci-fi mecha. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, then check this out. Alright, this was a different kind of video than usual. I just wanted, first of all, to make something after all this time again, and I really wanted to get these shows out there because no one really watched them, no one really was talking about them. Partly it's because Netflix has them, partly it's because just no one noticed them. But I'll try what I can do to at least get some recognition to these shows. Maybe you can help if you feel like these shows deserve it as much as I think they deserve it. Leave a comment. Did you watch any of these shows? And if so, what did you think of them? I'm always happy for discussions and other opinions. Maybe you even have a show that I missed that no one saw, and you can recommend me something from last season. So yeah, the new season has just started to dip its toe into the water. I've seen 2 episodes already of new shows. One was not that good and one was amazing, but I won't say which was which. And yeah, that's basically it. See you whenever I decide to record something again. Bye.